Hello and welcome to ThePrint. We're in Bengaluru North and we're joined today by Professor Rajeev Gowda, the Congress candidate from this constituency. The campaigning is quite intense in these parts, and the Congress is trying to break the BJP stronghold in Bengaluru. So, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Happy to be here.
So, what are you doing? What are you doing to break the BJP stronghold in Bangalore this time, sir?
Multiple things. One, we've got a tremendous set of ground troops. We've got six MLAs out of the eight who have been really mobilizing our ground troops really well. And three of them, of course, are our two ministers, Krishna Bairegowda, Bharati Suresh, and our MLA AC Srinivas. But BJP MLA in Yeshwantpur is strongly supporting us. In Dasrali, the former JDS MLA has joined us. In KR our defeated candidate has never stopped working. And as a result, in these six constituencies, four of which are double the size of the other four, we've got tremendous momentum. Our party workers are raring to go, and they've been already reaching out to people. So that's one part. The other part, the other two constituencies, we've been working hard, Malleshwaram, Mahalakshmi Layout, to repair and strengthen, and I'll be doing a roadshow there right away. The other major foundation for our party's success is the 5 guarantees that the Congress has rolled out. These have touched the lives of every poor family, and especially women. And they are extremely grateful. And now that they understand that these guarantees just didn't come out of thin air. These were our way of responding to economic distress in 10 years of Modi. And so we've given them these guarantees which address their economic concerns and address the unemployment issue by the Yuva Nidhi program as well. So this package is giving us sort of a very, very strong foundation. I would call that the traditional vote. On top of that, I bring the additional vote as a candidate, someone who appeals to people across party lines. I'm getting tremendous resonance from BJP voters who say, look, normally we would have voted the other way, but you're the man for us. And so I'm getting that kind of a response. And that's why I've taken the step to contest this election, because I think I'm the one guy who can actually win this seat and bring it to the Congress tally.
So Rajeev, if I may address you as Rajeev because I'm older than you.
You can, Shekhar.
Yeah. So if you look at where we are standing,
Right.
If I said we are recording this in Singapore, for a moment people will be thrown. So this is part of your constituency, Bengaluru North, and yet a lot of your constituency is rural, semi-urban.
Oh, and an urban poor also.
It's a constituency of contrasts.
Well, it's a constituency with tremendous diversity. The rural part is only about 1/8 of the constituency. So the working class, poorer sections, the slum areas, there are significant pockets.
Yes.
I'll be doing a roadshow in a very, very dense neighborhood across the street. But these are the newer parts of Bengaluru. But these are the aspirational parts, right? This is the Brigade Gateway facility that we are shooting at. And, you have Amazon and other global companies here. Now, the interesting thing, Shekhar, is that the people who are working in these companies are people who grew up in those same neighborhoods, who had a good education and broke into these kinds of institutions, right? They're all like me, who went to the Ivy League and taught at IIM, was a Reserve Bank director. Well, we're fundamentally grounded. We're local people, sons of the soil, and we are grounded. We're very happy to be able to compete on a global scale and to, if you say this feels like Singapore, well, why not New York? That's the question we'd ask you. But the basic point...
I think there'll be too much siren noise.
That's true. Yes,
so we'll past that.
No. But the basic point is, this is the place, this is the aspiration. You can see people moving up in life, and that those sorts of opportunities need to be available to everyone.
Realities of our politics.
Yeah.
Does an aspirational constituency really value an aspirational candidate?
Oh, yes. Actually, if you listen to people, they have some shorthand ways of describing me. They say educated, qualified, clean. These sort of 3-4 terms, capable, terms. And, educated, everyone's educated. But here, what they mean is, this is a person who is educated in the kinds of subjects, knowledgeable about policy and economics, and who has already demonstrated a certain competence, a track record of development, of doing well in parliament, in the Rajya Sabha, etc. So that combination, someone who cares, someone who does his thing, all that is really what is the whole agenda, right? Basically, they say this is the guy for us. We are going through tremendous change as a city, right? And so people do want to make sure that development doesn't go haywire. They want someone who has the ability to think ahead, to engage with experts and professionals, and harness that knowledge for water-related issues, to address traffic, a whole bunch of these kinds of situations. And that is where they say this is the man for us.
Sharan, this is Sharan Poovanna. He's our big shot reporter in Bengaluru. Anything I do in Bengaluru and Karnataka is thanks to him. He's also responsible for all the mistakes I make. So Sharan, go ahead.
So, on one hand, you have Shobha Karanlaje, your opponent. She's known for a firebrand style of politics, and you come from a very academic, intellectual sort of background. How do you, counter this in politics? How do you go about it?
See, without getting personal, what you call a firebrand is basically a fire setter, a certain person who is very divisive, polarizing, whose first move in Bengaluru was to go out and try to create a communal crisis out of one incident in Nagaratpet. You're aware of that. And then went ahead and blamed Tamil Nadu and Tamilians for being terrorists, right? Do we want those kinds of people who are just out there, just creating tension? No. People want a better quality of life. They'd rather trust me to take care of their future than someone who's out there setting fires. As simple as that. The other thing is, if you saw the newspapers today, there was a discussion on criminal cases of our candidates in Bengaluru. Against me, 0 criminal cases. Against her, multiple, for all these kinds of, divisive issues, and communal violence and things like that. But also, 44 crore, ED case against her for money laundering, right? People here don't want that kind of thing. People would rather choose someone who is clean. We've already rejected the corrupt BJP in the last assembly election. And the crazy part of what this is, the same Prime Minister who says, na khaunga, na khane dunga, has inducted a person into his ministry who is facing charges from the same ED, of which, she's now a part of the same government. Is this ridiculous or what? Huh?
Doesn't that defeat your pitch that the BJP only uses ED against the opposition?
No. That shows you how serious the cases are, that otherwise they would have whitewashed everything. So far, they haven't been able to finish doing that. Okay? I don't know whether this was public knowledge, whether the great intelligence machine of the ruling party had actually paid enough attention to this. But they should pay attention to, whenever they induct a BJP politician from Karnataka, they should pay attention to their background, because the number of scams here is unbelievable.
I think those guys do a lot of homework. So whatever they do, unlikely that they will not know. But anyway, how do you convince the voter today that all the promises you make, that you are going to be in a position to form a government in Delhi? Because from 52 to leading a coalition that might be able to form a government is a big leap of faith.
Not at all, Shekhar. You've been through 2004. You've seen how after 5-10 years, there's a certain ennui, there's a certain amount of, anti-incumbency that sets in. And frankly, Mr. Modi had a spectacular opportunity, and as far as I'm concerned, he's blown it, right? We could have been a much faster growing economy. We could have done so much more. We are fastest growing, but we're also feeding 83 crore Indians every day, right? That's the inequality that we see within the country.
What you mean to say is we are feeding 83 crore Indians free food grain every day.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But why do we need to do that if we were doing so well, right? We need to, there are people who have not succeeded. So what I'm trying to say is that there's enough, people can't just live off the rhetoric and the bhashans and the ghoshans and whatever, the jumlas that they keep tossing out every time. So the basic point is, people are saying, okay, yeah, we've given him 10 years, now it's time for something else. Is it the India Alliance? June 4th will tell us. But we are fighting hard. People are also very concerned about, democracy, right? We've seen that over the last few years, all these efforts to destabilize elected state governments, the misuse of ED and IT and CBI. We've seen how, allegedly corrupt politicians get whitewashed, and dry cleaned when they go through the BJP washing machine. We've seen all that, right? And we've seen, for the first time in history, the opposition parties' accounts getting frozen just before an election. We've seen, the Aam Aadmi Party's chief minister being arrested. Things like that. People are not associated with corruption historically, right? So all of this is, people say...
I'm surprised you're mentioning Aam Aadmi Party, which is...
It's a coalition partner.
I know, coalition partner, but not Hemant Soren, who's your partner in the government.
I happen to mention him because, you're from Delhi and you would relate much more closely with him. That's why I just mentioned that.
I'm not as urban as you are.
you think so, Shekhar? You're mistaken. You may have been a Hindi medium type at one point in time,
but I'm not as well qualified. Nevertheless, you carry
qualifications they're different. You're qualified in the field. I'm qualified in the in the ivory towers.
That's it, because there was this...
No, there are enough and more people I could have named, but I just mentioned this because this is a party that came up in a different way, right? So nobody expected that to happen. That's all. Anyway, the point is, people are tired, and it's just one face, one name, and then people may say this is the time for change. Anyway, we'll see what June 4th delivers. But in every state, like starting with Karnataka, you're going to see 20, 25 seats switching sides, right? And when you start doing the arithmetic, and they add up in Maharashtra, in Bihar, in Bengal, etc., you will see Modi Sarkar, BJP as a single party not crossing the majority mark 100%. Okay? That is exactly what, and that's going to be a huge psychological blow. That's why all these psychops of 370, 400, from where are those seats going to come? Okay, that's not going to happen, right? But it's just aimed at creating some mass hysteria about these sorts of things. Not a chance. Yeah.
So, your own constituency, you already told us that it's a mix of rural and urban, right?
Mostly urban, boss. Mostly urban.
Okay.
Mostly
How
urban.
do you manage expectations? Because Bangalore has still, we're groveling through the same problems, same bad roads, same water scarcity, same problems.
Yeah. So, some of it you articulate, right? Some of it you show through demonstrated action. So, for example, traffic is one big problem here, right? Now, when it comes to that, I'm a big voter of public transport. Okay, so when the metro line got connected, I introduced metro feeder buses in the city. The suburban rail is something that I've been fighting for 15 years. It's going to become a reality soon. So these are not new topics for me. Once they come in, see, this is what global exposure does. We know that every mega city has multiple public transport options, right? Including suburban rail, things like that. And so when we do this, people understand that, okay, this is a guy who has some clue. When I talk about the Hebar flyover, the great choke point into, in North Bangalore, I also talk about, look, there's potential there for a suburban rail station and the metro line and the bus station and the highway to create a multimodal transit hub, right? Nobody talks about that. I talk about it because I think that could become the way in which people will move away from private transportation to public transport, right? So, do you want to combat traffic and road rage? No. We all want to be able to go peacefully in metros and all that, air-conditioned comfort, that sort of thing. Similarly, the water crisis, right? It's not just about getting more water from our Kaveri. It's also about what do we need to do, right? There's the preservation of enhancement of our greenery, our lakes, our canals, the keres and the kalves. How do we protect them? How do we keep them from getting polluted? How do we recharge our groundwater? How do we harvest enough? We get enough rain in the city. We don't need to take water from the Kaveri if we harvested it, right? So in the last Siddaramaiah government, we learned how to use our treated water and ship it across to the KC Valley and the HN Valley to Kolar and Chikpadapur, greening those areas, right? So these are all the ways in which an imaginative policy maker, policy thinker can go out there and create a sustainable future. And enough people care about these things.
Your government is in power here.
Yes.
So what do you think your government should do to answer the water problem? Because today, wherever you go in Bangalore, people say, Bengaluru, people say water, water, water.
Yeah. So first thing we did was, there's a tanker mafia, okay, of private water supply. What we did was we brought it in the government regulation to make sure that it doesn't go only to the highest bidder, that everyone gets access at a certain price. This is an intervention, okay? In the free market, as it were, but something that's vitally needed.
But is it working, or
It's working.
is it
It's
tanker
working.
mafia now bribing people to get
No,
around?
no. It's not. That's not happening.
I,
Because we
I,
can,
I see this as an ATM for corrupt.
not at all, not at all. I'm afraid it's not that way. And then, we are waiting. What shall we say? The Kaveri Phase 5 is going to come. The part of the reason why there's less water inside the ground is because some of our biggest lakes have been drained in order to desilt them. And the BJP government that was in office for 3.5, 4 years didn't finish the job. So now we are moving at a very rapid pace. So these are ways.
Is that work going on? Can we go and look at that work?
Yeah, of course. Go take him to Bengaluru, Shekhar, etc. And Kengeri, we've already started to fill the water in the lakes. Then the seepage will happen. And any day now, we should get rains. I can actually see greyish clouds out there. It will
Maybe a bit early.
Yeah, it's a bit early.
It will come.
Yeah. So water is something that the government has a role to play, but every citizen also has a role to play in how we work with water. But there's enough water that we get in the city.
But how important is it to make people pay for water?
That is a different level of question.
Because
should
unless they pay, they will not value it.
See, if I were in my IIM class, I would have discussed that in detail with you. Since I'm in the field, I basically would say that we don't need to consider such options at this point in time.
Not at election time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Model code of conduct.
And I'm certainly a model, citizen when it comes to that.
I have to say, I said this to Tejasvi Surya earlier in the day, that it's in Bangalore that I'm finding happy candidates. Right? They are laughing, they are smiling, as was Tejasvi. So there has to be something about the air in this place. Because otherwise we find election season 5 days before voting, people are so taut and so stressed out.
Yeah, no. We're not stressed out at all because we are enjoying the process, and there's wonderful positive response from the public, and lots of thumbs up when I go on my road shows and things like that. So there's a certain happiness.
So what will be the number for your party in Karnataka?
So there are 28 seats in Karnataka. We expect to win 3/4 of them, so at least 21 plus. Okay. That includes mine, Bengaluru.
That would almost amount to assembly election translating into.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, people haven't forgotten what the state BJP did, right? Does the state BJP have a face other than everyone here is saying, "Don't vote for me, vote for Modi." All the BJP candidates. Okay. No, one second. No, it's a different issue. It is another issue that is very emotional here. In the last few years, the central BJP government, has been very unjust towards Karnataka. They have not given us the recommendation of the Finance Commission. They have not given us drought relief funds. Basically, Nirmala Sitharaman is saying there's a code of conduct. So if people are in distress, I can't do anything about it. What sort of nonsense is that? Okay. Similarly, there is, budget announcements about the Upper Bhadra project. They've not given it to us. So right now, the rhetoric is the central government, the BJP, is really negative as far as Karnataka is concerned. They are unjust and discriminatory towards us. And so in my speeches, I basically say, in this sort of a situation, anyone who votes for the BJP is anti-Karnataka. As simple as that.
And people at the same time see Modi as a strong national leader, providing stability. There is premium on stability.
Well, stability and ability to protect us are two different things. In Ladakh, he is yet to acknowledge that the Chinese have interfered with our ability to patrol certain areas. In Manipur, he seems to be unaware that Manipur is a state in India and that it's his responsibility to douse the fires there. We have not heard a word from him about these sorts of things. People see this. People see that someone is all drama, all marketing, and no action when it comes to taking care of our own people and their security needs. This is very clear. So when this happens, all this, 56-inch rhetoric is history. Now people are going to say, let's have someone who is more real, who is certainly more empathetic and inclusive, and who cares for us. That's really where we are going.
Sharan?
So, everyone knows Bangalore as a suave, swanky city, IT and everything. But what's the caste reality of Bangalore? Do they actually look at these factors? Do they vote on religion? Do they vote for caste? Do they vote for Hindutva? Do these things? Because you've also been,
Your caste is the largest
Yes.
caste group here.
It's the most dominant, numbers versus influence. Ours is historically the most politically active community here.
Vocaligas.
Vocaligas in North Bangalore, and they're actually everywhere. Even South Bangalore has a very strong Vocaliga population because this city is built around Vocaligas. Kempe Gowda founded this city, after all. Anyway, the point is that
He's the one the airport is named after.
Correct,
Because
correct.
a lot of people who don't belong to Bengaluru, who's this guy after whom the airport has been named?
the original smart city, Bengaluru. Okay, Kempe Gowda's Bengaluru. Now, the basic point is that some of these factors matter, right? Some people vote on the basis of religion. Some people vote on the basis of caste. A large number of people don't vote on those bases. They vote on the basis of development, on people's aspirations, on track record. Anti-votes on the basis of governmental records and corruption and failure. So it's a combination. It's vote is a blunt instrument after all. So I would say that all of these factors figure in. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to appeal to one set of voters by taking care of their stomachs, not their emotions and their hatreds and things like that, right? Similarly, we are also focused on, in my case, on aspiration, saying, look, give me a chance to work with you and we'll change the face of Bengaluru. We'll do planning in a very different way. We're actually standing in a very, very nice integrated township, which has work and play and entertainment and schooling and everything, healthcare, everything in one location. That's how a lot of Bangalore should be, rather than urban sprawl. Okay, there's a metro line you can hear actually as we talk. So all this is what we need to provide to our citizens, and people do believe that in my hands there would be this kind of outcome. Okay, and whether we come to government or not, I think I have the capacity to fight for Karnataka in Parliament. I have the ability to bring in the grants for Karnataka and Bengaluru's development from Delhi. So this sort of combination is really going to be what people are looking for. Someone who can deliver, someone who could have stayed in the intellectual jobs that I had been given, but who said enough of all that, it's about time to step into the fray and save the country, starting with
Get
one
into
Lok Sabha
rough and
seat.
tumble.
Absolutely.
And what a contrast, because this is a constituency that was the home of C.K. Jafar Sharif.
Yeah. And before that, my uncle was MP for 2 terms, MP Krishnappa.
That's right. So C.K. Jafar Sharif, a very different kind of politician from you. So this is some contrast that the Congress party has chosen.
Well, I think the Congress party has chosen wisely, and I think the people of Bengaluru North are going to similarly choose wisely and elect me.
Well, fight the good fight, and maybe the better side win.
Thank you. Thank you, Shekhar. Happy to see you in Bengaluru.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharan. Bye-bye.